Good evening, everybody. We'll start with today's session of Kant's philosophy, and we are on concluding part of the first chapter from J.T. Kant, that is the Sikh. We have learned many aspects of understanding the Sikh from this chapter from the Kant, where he has mentioned that the Sikh is not the party Sikh, but it is the human, the man, the principle which is Sikh, and which lies in the basically in its nature at the level of will and understanding. This will and understanding gives unique identity of that human being, reflects that expression of that human being in his body language, on the countenance, and with which it is quite easy to find it out individuality of that person. You have to give so much of importance to the functional manifestations of the patient, which is nothing but the language of the disease which happens in the dynamic plane. Disease is not something material which enters in your body and produces the disease. Disease is inside you. Disease is at the level of this vital principle or vital energy, and which is reflected, produce the some post functional manifestations. If it persists for longer time of duration, converts into the cellular changes, producing pathology, and those are nothing but the end products of the disease. On on this pathology, the bacteria grows. On this pathology, when the person is diseased, the viruses develops, and old school finds it out that as a cause of the disease. In fact, Hahnemann says it is nothing but the result of the disease. The cause of the disease, these are only the prima causa morbi. This is the terminology Hahnemann have used for such a thing. And then he tried to explain there is a concept of giving names to the disorders from long time in allopathy. They give big names to the diseases, and on the basis of that, they try to treat the patient, and that names are given according to the pathology. But there are many things which happens which are prior to it in the form of some functional symptoms. And when it is functional, they never finds it out anything over there, and they consider that patient is not having any disease unless and until they get some cellular or tissue level change. If you treat that disease at the same level, the patient will be cured and there will be no further progression of the disease. And that's why what is prior to the disease is nothing but this disorder which happens at the will and understanding of the human being. That is at the level of principle of that human being, means in that man. And that is the sick. And that's why the sickness is always in the man. So we have learned many aspects about it. Let us go ahead with the next paragraph of this chapter. And today we're going to finish this chapter, and then tomorrow we'll start with next one. So what he says over there, to get at the real nature of human economy and to lead up from that to sickness, opens out the field for the investigation in a most scientific way. Sickness can be learned by the study of provings of the drugs upon the healthy economy. Hahnemann made use of the information thus obtained when he stated that the mind is the key to the man. The symptoms of the mind have been found by all his followers to be the most important symptoms in the remedy and in the sickness. So what he explains that now he is turning to understand the man, and where is the man lies. The man more expresses at the mental level than the physical level. Mind is most important key in the state of health as well as in the state of disease. When you prove the drugs, if you get the symptoms of mind, those are very essential for you to match the remedy in future. That's why in the proving they are important. At the same time, when you when you are treating any sick person, at that time also the mental symptoms plays a vital role because they are directly related with that injury. If you have symptoms related with the pathology, many times they are related only with the pathology. Very occasionally you get directly the individuality over there at the particular level. For example, if patient comes to you with eczema on his hand, You label, yes, you can immediately find it out. This is the eczema, that's all. You cannot individuate one patient from the another patient unless it has very specific sensation, unless it has very specific modality, unless it has very specific concomitant. You cannot individualize. But it's very easy to individualize by finding it out the nature of the person, the mind of the person. Every individual you can differentiate on this basis very easily. And that's why Kant says mind is the key to understand the human being. The symptoms of the mind have been found by all his followers to be the most important symptom in a remedy and in sickness. Man consists in what he thinks and what he loves, and there is nothing else in man. काय म्हटलं बघा, what he says, man consists in what he thinks. What he thinks is the man, and that on the basis of which you understand how the next fellow is. You do the same thing, whether to get friendly with that or not. You think prior to it with your own thinking, because man is the person who thinks and what he loves, on the basis of which you can understand how the next person is, what he loves. So man consists in what he thinks and what he loves, and there is nothing else in man. If these two grand parts of man, the will and understanding, be separated, it means insanity, disorder, or death. See what he says. If these two grand parts of the man, the will and understanding, if will is lost, finished, it will lead towards the death. That person will immediately leads towards the death. You have seen in the COVID situation, first wave, second wave, there are many people who died because of their will. Once they got the disease, they feel that they will going to die, and they died because of their thinking, their thought, because of their understanding. They have not understood properly that they can fight, they can come out. Their thoughts were negative, and that will itself was responsible towards the death of those person. And this is truth. The power lies in your will. Power lies in your subconscious mind. And what is subconscious mind is nothing but your will. Will lies over there, and will defines what you will. So this is too important to understand. What he wants to explain is very important. This constitutes man. Every man you can find it out depending upon his will. So will and understanding, these are two important parts. Be separated, it means insanity. If they are divided, if they are lost, it leads towards insanity. Insanity means madness, disorder. It creates disorder and ultimately the death. All medicines operate upon the will and understanding, first, sometimes extensively on both, affecting man in his ability to think or to will, and ultimately upon the tissues, the functions and sensations. See, very important thing. When you treat a person, for example, if you would have any case, just now example is there. Um, a few days back, I have started treating one of the patient who was a case of liver cirrhosis with severe ascites. And that patient came to me with absolutely lost hopes. In fact, he was brought to me by one of my students, um, his father-in-law, and he was suffering from ascites with severe tapping has been done 3-4 times without any result, and abdomen is again full of fluid, and patient was in a depressed mood as if he was going to die. I took his case. I discussed many things with him. I told him that yes, homeopathy, we have medicines. I'm damn sure that you are going to come out. He says, you are the first one who is saying that. Up till now, I have met many doctors. Everyone has said now there are very less chances you are going to get clear. There are very less chances that you are going to it will revert. I said, I'm damn sure that you're going to come out. He said after long time, I'm feeling some relaxation in my mind. In fact, I don't know whether my medicine has acted or my thought has been acted over there. After starting medicines, after 1 month follow, total ascites was lost. The abdomen was becoming like a pendulous like because it was full of fluid and whole thing disappeared. The remedy has acted in his thought. When he entered in my clinic, the thoughts have been completely changed. First thing, the smile was there when he entered. Then there was second important thing. He explained, doctor, now I feel I will going to get cured. That was the change of thoughts. So your remedy works at the will level. When it works at the will level, it will act at the functional level. It will act then cellular level, then at the pathological level. But first, it should act at your center. If it acts at your center, it will definitely will going to cure that patient. Homeopathic medicine has that capacity. Homeopathic medicine changes a evil thought and brings it again into the normal. What he further says, in the study of aurum, we find the affections are most disturbed by that drug. Man's highest possible love is for his life. Aurum so destroys this that he does not love his life. He will commit suicide. In fact, this is one more thing that when we think of aurum, this is the negative side of the aurum. Aurum is not like that originally. Aurum is very meticulous. Aurum is very religious. Aurum is very fastidious. Aurum is very industrious. Aurum is has very much love for the classical music, the religious music, and he never stops unless and until the work is finished. He's very positive person in his life. But he has a fatherly approach. He feels that the way he follows, the other should follow. And if it has been not followed by his children, if it has been not followed his wife, his followers, he becomes disturbed, he becomes depressed, he becomes sulky. Then there is complete opposite thing that life he wants to destroy the life because nothing is working. That state is the aurum state. And if you find the person in such a mood and not yet done suicide, you give him aurum and his thoughts get changed. Yeah, again, you can bring him again into the life. Argentum, on the other hand, so destroys the man's understanding that he is no longer rational. His memory is entirely ruined. This is what the Argentum nitricum. Argentum nitricum is a very much mental worker. He used to work very hard mentally and gets exhausted. Then he starts forgetting things, many common things he forgets. And if it is so, the problem has started working at the brain level, at the level of functional level, and then it can lead towards pathology. It can lead towards the degeneration of the brain. But if you tackle with the help of those symptoms and give him argentum, it will definitely treat that patient permanently. So with every proud drug in the materia medica, we see them affecting first man's mind and proceeding from the mind to the physical economy, to the outermost, to the skin, to the hair, to the nails. And every remedy works in this manner. It works centrally. At the center, it works. It works at the mind level first. After mind, it starts affecting his physical functional level. Then at the peripheral level, then at the level of skin, then at the level of nails. But it is always from center to periphery. The materia medica, if the medicines are not thus studied, you will have no knowledge of them that you can carry with you. The materia medica has been established upon this basis. So provings gives you a detailed idea of understanding of the remedy. And that's why it is always necessary to read the remedy from the different books, basically the source books of the materia medica. My suggestion to all of you, if those who are practitioner, always go through with the clinical materia medica or clinical dictionary by J.H. Clark. Very important. If you don't have the um, chronic materia medica pura, you must purchase the materia medica pura where the direct provings are there. I know that it is boring little bit, but once you read from them, then you exactly find it out how it has been proved, what symptoms came first, and how later the peripheral symptoms comes. Sickness must therefore be examined by a thorough scrutiny of the elements that make up the morbid changes that exist in the likeness of the drug symptom. To the extent that drugs in the provings upon healthy men have brought out symptoms in animal ultimates, must we read sickness? Must we study sickness with the hope of adjusting remedies to the sickness in the man under the law of similars? So what is it? Sickness must be therefore examined by thorough scrutiny of the elements that make up the morbid changes that exist in the likeness of the drug symptom. So what you have to see when patient comes to you, you must study how the disease has progressed. You start right from the first functional symptom and how it has reached to the 2 days level. So if the patient comes with some pathology with you, you should not depend upon pathology, but you should ask how the disease has started right from the start till today, what has happened. Because if you study the sickness in this manner, then you get the individuality of that person. Without that, you cannot get the individuality. Individuality you can get only at the functional level, not at the pathological level. Pathology is pathology. Liver cirrhosis is cirrhosis, which where you cannot get individualization. Individualization you can get basically in the when there are symptoms. Then there is the individualization at the location level, at the sensation level, at the modalities level, at the concomitant level. So at all levels there is a differentiation when you have a symptoms. And that's why the sickness should be studied right from the start so that you can understand them. To the extent that drugs improving upon the healthy men, we have brought out the symptoms on the animal ultimates, must we study the sickness with the hope of adjusting remedies to the sickness in man under the law of similars. So we must study each and every symptom when we are proving the remedy. When we prove it on healthy human beings, we get all those functional symptoms which you cannot get when you do it animal proving. Animal proving you can get only the tissue changes. Ultimate symptoms, function symptoms, sensorium symptoms, and mind symptoms are all useful and none should be overlooked. Underlies this sentence. Ultimate symptoms means cellular changes. Functional symptoms means where there are symptoms but there is nothing abnormal found in the cells. Sensorium symptoms means related with the his understanding. Mental symptoms, mind symptoms means his his own will, related with the will are always mind symptoms, are all useful and none should be overlooked. The idea of sickness in man must be formed from the idea of sickness pursued in our materia medica. So when you have to understand man, you have to understand man from the materia medica, then you will understand the sickness in the man. So if you read materia medica properly, then you can read man properly. You must know before that what is there in your materia medica. If you know that, then you can easily find it out. If you don't know that, you cannot find it out. The idea of sickness in man must be formed from the idea of sickness pursued in our materia medica. As we perceive the nature of sickness in a drug image, so must we perceive the nature of sickness in human being to be healed. What he says, if we perceive म्हणजे समजणे, without any, even there is no need to a verbal communication, perception. If we perceive the nature of sickness in drug image, so if we read the materia medica by heart, every sentence if you perceive, then you can understand that how it will reflect in the patient. Then it is quite easy to find it out that sickness in the human being. Therefore, to conclude the chapter, what he says in the last paragraph, therefore, our idea of pathology must be adjusted to such a materia medica as we possess, and it must be discovered wherein these similar These are similar in order to heal the sick. So our materia medica is full of symptomatology. It is not full of pathology. It is not short. In fact, our materia medica is very big. Every remedy is explained in detail because we give lot of importance to the functional symptoms and which are taken from the provings. We collect those symptoms and forms our materia medica. That's why our materia medica is full of symptomatology, enriched with the symptomatology, and because of which it is rather gives a perfect picture of the remedy. At the same time, you can apply it in the sickness on the basis of that. The totality of the symptoms written out carefully is all that we know of the internal nature of the sickness. So lies over there at the dynamic level. That sickness we can understand on the basis of symptomatology, the totality of the symptoms. And there are three definitions done by the three definitions are there regarding the totality of the symptom. Hahnemann have given in seventh aphorism the totality of the symptom. It is an outwardly reflected picture of the internal essence of the disease, that is of the affection of the vital force. This is what Hahnemann says. But Kent has converted it in a different manner. Kent says it is sum of all characteristic symptoms is the totality of the symptom. So he has specified it. Sum of all characteristic symptoms is called as totality of symptoms. There are four types: peculiar, queer, rare, and strange. Boni Hussain has defined it in another word. He says that totality of the symptoms is nothing but the totality of the sum. It is sum of all complete symptoms. And complete symptoms means complete symptom which has a location, sensation, modality, and concomitant. So this totality is the reflection of the internal disease, and that is what we have to look for. The totality of the symptoms written out carefully in all that we know of the internal nature of the sickness, and then the proper administration of the similar remedy will constitute the art of healing. So on the basis of that, you have to find it out a right remedy, and that remedy will be the patient's remedy. So you have to treat that inner sickness, that is the sick which lies in the man, in the mm, vital principle, in the form of in the dynamic form. And that sickness, if you are able to judge on the basis of symptoms which are coming out in the form of some mental symptoms and some sensorium symptoms, some functional symptoms, or ultimates, all those are reflections of this inner disorder. And that disorder can be treated if you get right totality and if you get right remedy and if you prescribe it in right potency, then definitely it works and it brings the cure from center to periphery. So sickness, where is the sickness? That we have to understand. Sickness is not in the disease part, but sickness is prior to it at the level of will and understanding of the human being. And that's what Kent's concept of understanding the sickness. In a simple language, it is the man who is sick and not his part. It is the individual as a whole is sick, not a particular part. All those things he has very clearly explained over there by giving simple reasoning. So here completes the first chapter, the sick from the Kant's philosophy. Tomorrow we're going to start with the next chapter. And today evening, those who are interested in learning the Materia Medica at 9:30 to 10, we will going to learn Allen's keynotes daily. We'll start with the A series, few remedies from A series I will going to conduct. So it will be daily session from Monday to Friday, 9:30 to 10 on Zoom session, and it will be free for everyone. Those who want to join, they can join. Ask your friends to join and learn the practical materia medica, a clinical aspect. In fact, it is clinical materia medica that I will going to share with all of you. So that's all for today. Be there at 9:30 so that we'll have half an hour sessions daily. Thanks a lot. Any queries are there? Yes, definitely. We'll have a chance to discuss. Otherwise, we'll conclude. Any queries, questions? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.